Hello and welcome Gemini, Libra and Aquarius. Welcome to your week ahead TarotScopes with me, Intuitive Rene. This week we are doing the 12th to the 18th of June 2023 using these two really amazing decks that I have on the table here in front of me. The first one we're working with is an oracle deck called Ask and it is Given. This deck is created by Esther and Jerry Hicks, who bring us the teachings of Abraham. So this is really a great deck to be working with, and that's going to give us our theme for the week ahead. And the tarot deck that I'm working with is by Stephen Bright. Stephen is an amazing tarot author. He's created this beautiful deck. He's collaborated on a couple of others as well, and yeah, he is based in the UK and he has created this Spirit Within Tarot. I've had this deck for many years and I just absolutely adore it. So, and I do think these two work really well together as well. So let's get into your week ahead. Let me get those out of the way because they're just empty boxes, and bring in our oracle. So this particular oracle deck, just to show you, it has a really pretty picture on the one side and it has a short little key phrase, and then on the back it has a whole lot of other info pertaining to that. So quite a lot of information on a single card. So air signs, Gemini, Libra and Aquarius for the week ahead of the 12th to the 18th of June 2023. Let's have a look and see what is the theme for the week ahead. What is where your focused energy and attention needs to go? What do you need to know? What is important and significant for this week ahead, please? We're looking for a single card from this deck that's going to give us the theme for the week ahead. Right, let's cut the deck and take the card off the top. So we have got some feet. Looks like the feet are standing on the sun actually, because we have all of these kind of light rays coming off, and obviously this very yellowy orangey sun, but the feet are there with all their toes. I'm actually counting the toes, and the little key phrase here says, what if Source were standing in my physical shoes? Oh, that is so interesting. So here we have our light source, okay? So if it is the sun, it is our main illuminary. It lights up the sky, it lights up our planet, it gives us heat, it gives us warmth, it gives us life. But the key phrase here is, what if Source were standing in my physical shoes? When we talk about Source, Source is God, Goddess, whatever, whoever, whatever you think or believe is the higher power, the higher being, the source energy that affects all of us. That would be Source. So what if Source was standing in your physical shoes? What would they think? What would they see? What would they feel? And on the other end, I'm just going to do that in case you want to pause it and read it for yourself, and then I'll hold it down here to read it for me. It says, it's not your job to make something happen. Your work is to simply determine what you want. If we were standing in your physical shoes, our attention would be upon bringing ourselves into alignment with the desires and preferences that we have launched. We would consciously feel our way into alignment. Let's read that again. It's not your job to make something happen. Your work is to simply determine what you want. If we were standing in your physical shoes, our attention would be upon bringing ourselves into alignment with the desires and preferences that we have launched. We would consciously feel our way into alignment. I think that is quite deep, quite powerful, and actually quite fabulous, because my take on that, okay, my take on that, and I just want to get back to that first sentence. That first sentence to me is crucial. It's not your job to make something happen. Your work is to simply determine what you want. And I think, friends, that is something that we don't do enough of. We are so conscious about disappointing, upsetting, or hurting other people, of letting other people down, that we don't make choices or decisions for ourselves. Everything that we do is, oh, what's going to make my partner happy? What's going to make my parents happy? What's going to make my children happy? What's going to make my boss happy? What's going to make my neighbor happy? I mean, come on. You know, how often do we actually ask the question of what makes us happy? You know, what makes you happy? How often do you ask that question? I don't think you do often enough. So back to the key question. I'm going to start shuffling the tarot while I'm chatting. Back to the key question. What if Source were standing in your physical shoes? Because what Source will do, and it is something that they say across the bottom here, we would consciously feel our way into alignment. So this is something that we need to do, is we need to be conscious of our environment, conscious of our choices, our responsibilities, the things that make us happy. We need to be conscious of our choices that we make in life. And we need to make sure that it is in alignment with what it is that we want, what it is that makes us happy. So what if Source was standing in your shoes? Would Source be happy with the choices that you've made? Would Source be happy with the decisions that you made, with how you are living your life? Are you moving towards a goal? Are you moving towards a dream, an aspiration? Are you moving towards something? Or are you just I don't want to say invisibly is not the right word, unconsciously? Or are you unconsciously moving through life through other people's needs, wants, desires, and what makes other people happy? And are you neglecting yourself? Are you standing still on the sun so much that your feet are burning? All right, let's see what the tarot wants to contribute towards this. Okay, so first card drawing for us is coming over here, and we have the Page of Swords. Immediately we get that fighting kind of action that's coming through, okay, which I understand. I'll interpret in a second. We have Queen of Swords. All right, so we're continuing with the swords. This side we've got the Four of Wands. Okay, so energy shifts, and our final card that we have is the Strength card. Love it. Right, let's move these out of the way so I can stop bumping the table. Everything can stop moving around a little bit. All right, so to remind you, what if Source was standing in your physical shoes? Would Source be happy with the way that you're living your life, your choices, your actions, your decisions? Are you moving towards your goals, or are you trying to please everybody around you? I'm coming here to Page of Swords. Now, as you can see, and as I said, Page of Swords seems to have this kind of aggression. It's almost like he's ready to start fighting. He's ready to, he's like, oh. Now, it always reminds me, this particular card, okay, in this particular deck, this particular card, it reminds me of a martial arts student who has been probably going to martial arts school for 10 years, and somebody who feels as if they're quite smart, feels as if they're quite clever, feels as if they could take on anybody. But when it comes to their first battle, when it comes to their first real life experience, suddenly things are not as fabulous as they expected them to be. So in theory, they have a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge, a lot of understanding, a lot of know-how, but practically they're actually not that sharp, not that good. They don't have that much experience, okay? So if you imagine anybody training for one thing for a long period of time, the more they train, the more confident they get. But as soon as they have a real life experience, suddenly everything's a little bit different. Suddenly everything is a little bit not so confident. And maybe this is you, okay? So maybe this is what Source is saying. If Source was standing in your physical shoes, they would have all the knowledge, they will have all the understanding, but how much practical, how often have you put this into practice? I do also think Page of Swords is, and this is always my understanding of Page of Swords is the card of learning, okay? Of gathering information, of learning and taking on additional understanding and information. So Page of Swords is basically saying to you that your entire life you are gathering information, but what are you doing with it? And if Source was standing in your physical shoes, would Source be in agreement of gathering information and not doing anything with it? Why gather the information if you're not going to use it, if you're not going to do anything with it? So here we have our Queen of Swords. Now, she is almost, if I can say, continuing the vein, right? So she is a couple of levels above our page. She seems to be sitting, we only have the silhouette, but she seems to have a little notebook. She's got a pen, she's scratching her head. This looks like it could be a computer in front of her, her laptop or something like that, and there's her sword ready and waiting. So should she need to jump into action, her sword is there, she can pick it up and go. But she fights with the mind. Her battle is an intellectual one. Her battle is knowledge, okay? So she's not physical. She's not going to bring up the fist and fight and things like that. She is the strategist. She is the person who fights with her wit, who fights with her will, who fights with her words, okay? But she thinks. Everything is very strategic with her, okay? So she is doing stuff, whereas he is still very much intellectualizing it all and thinking about it and feeling confident, whereas she's now reverted to using her knowledge to her best ability. So we are looking at the week of the 12th to the 18th, so just a short 7-day cycle. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, this is Spirit saying to you, it's time to start using all your knowledge to fight the battles you need to fight in order to achieve the happiness, success, and joy that you're working towards. And it's interesting how we got these two leading up to this card, as in understanding your power, using your power, and then the energy shifts very much on the other side here. So Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, Spirit is saying to you with the Four of Wands is, the learning that you've done, the skills that you've gained, the experience, the knowledge, the power that you have, we need to make sure that we're using it to set us up for a lifetime. I say that because the Four of Wands is about commitment. Here we have a couple, they're standing under the altar, they are making a commitment to each other, and it's not a commitment for a 7-day period, it's a commitment for a lifetime. So all the learning, all the experience, all the understanding that you have, that you need to put into practice now, is going to set you up for the future. We also acknowledge that it's scary. We also acknowledge that it's easier said than done. You do have a strategy, you do have a plan, or you do need to have one, all right? This is also Spirit saying to you that it's time to get active, it's time to get going, it's time to start doing more. Because if Spirit was standing in your shoes, if Spirit was standing in your physical shoes, they would do more. We are so afraid of failure. And that's just a normal human experience, a normal human kind of concept. We're also afraid of failure that we often don't take the steps that we need to take us closer to success and happiness. This is Spirit saying to you, stop gaining experience. Stop waiting. Stop saying, oh, but when I've learned this, then I will be ready. This is Spirit saying to you, you are ready. It's time to make that commitment. It's time to step out of your comfort zone. It's time to take a step towards your happiness, towards your future, and towards your success. We know that you're scared. We know that you're afraid. We know that it's quite daunting. There you are there crouching down in front of a lion. There is a huge cliff. And if that lion chooses, it's going to push you over if it hasn't killed you first. It's going to push you over. But there you are crouching down, looking the lion in the eye, okay? Eye for an eye. Looking the lion in the eye and almost trying to show the lion that you are no threat, that you are actually friend and not foe. And then you can walk off the cliff safely as opposed to jumping that side. But it is Spirit saying to you that you're still trying to achieve or trying to learn or trying to absorb or trying to gain stuff because you don't believe that you're ready. You do not believe that you are powerful. Source is saying to you right here, right now, if I was standing in your shoes, I would get going. I would get moving because you've done enough. You've gained enough. So, air signs, Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius. This week, acknowledge and recognize all that you've done, all that you are. Get a plan together to work towards your future. Get a plan together to become happy, to become content, to be living the life that you want, regardless of how scared you are, because you're actually strong enough. You're actually capable of changing, turning, and making this whole situation in your favor as opposed to in your detriment. Interesting week for you. This is key. What if Source were standing in your physical shoes? What would they do differently? And they would get moving. All right. Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius, wishing you just the best week ever. As always, with love and blessings from my heart to yours. And until we connect again, take care.